So what I can maybe show you here is the second prototype we made, which is what we call the 20 centimeter? This is the 20 centimeter prototype. So basically we doubled everything.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about your basic arithmetic, if you double the size of one side of a three-dimensional shape, you actually get 8 times the volume. So this one allows us to, I think, handle about 0.5 kilogram of plastic to be crushed down into about half of its size. So what you can see, again, it's a box. We had some learning from this prototype. The first thing we learned is that when we do the work of crushing, what's going to happen, Arcel, if you can pull here, if you can imagine that there's plastic in uncompacted plastic inside the box, and Arcel is going to pull down on this lever. When he pulls down, he's going to exert a force like this. And what does the box want to do? It wants to tip over like this. If it tips over, then it will not. The force will not compact the waste. It will just tip the box over. So what did we do? Because these compactors will sit on a dirt roads, they're not sitting on concrete, they're not sitting on asphalt or tarmac. We developed the idea of these spiky feet, and these feet can be pushed into the ground to give it grip, so that when force is exerted to push the lid down, the crushing lid, it does not cause the box to tip over, and the force is pushed downwards. That's the first thing we did. The second thing we did is develop this idea of having hinges. You can see, if you just see closely, you can see we made a hinge out of wire. We in fact improved upon that design later. That allows the flaps not to be completely separated. We want the compactor to be flat, but we found that it's quicker to assemble and disassemble if we predefine hinges on it so that it can be folded flat and then opened. And then we have this kind of mechanism here, which is a kind of removable pin that allows you to join a flap together or not. So this was the first time we experimented with that. This one, I think, was still made out of 1 millimeter steel. Is that right? Is this 1 millimeter? There's an interesting point to mention here. We could not find information about the detailed structural calculations you need to do to work out the thickness of steel that you need in order to be able to compact a certain amount of waste. But what we do know is the thicker the steel you use, the heavier the compactor, so it takes more effort to move it on and off the truck, and the more expensive the compactor. There are certain grades of sheet steel that are regularly available in African countries. This is the thinnest grade, which is 1 millimeter thick. And we want to use the cheapest grade of steel that we can that still achieves the result. The way that we did this was to always use the thinnest amount of steel first for a prototype, and when we started to find the steel buckling, we would look at if we needed to move up to a thicker grade of steel. It's quite obvious to us that if we use, let's say, 10 millimeter thick steel, which is extremely strong and heavy, we would definitely be able to compact anything. But that steel is much more expensive because it's much thicker. And that, if we use that steel, it makes the whole compactor much more expensive. So what we're trying to do is to make the cheapest and lightest model that we can that still achieves our objective. So the way that we did that was more primitive. We didn't use clever mathematics. We simply used the lowest grade, the thinnest grade of materials we could for each prototype. And when we found that that prototype was beginning to show buckling or significant deformation, we would then know that we needed to move up to the next grade of steel.